True crime community. True crime community has been infiltrated.
Crime King. Back.
Two Oklahoma college students were on their dream vacation in Cancun, but the trip turned into a nightmare the day after they arrived at a Mexican resort. At least one of the women ended up in the hospital dangerously ill, and they were rushed back to the United States. So what on earth happened? Were they drugged? Is this something every vacationer needs to be on the lookout for? I'm going to discuss it all with trial attorney David Ring. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
What's up, guys? True Crime King back. Welcome to True Crime King with your host, True Crime King. Go to patreon.com/real True Crime King and help me out. The link's in the description. You guys, I know I have loyal followers here. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Anyway, all right, so this Mexican resort allegedly spiked these college students' drinks. Let's take a look and see what the deal is. Here we go.
All right, let's talk about Zara Hull and Kaylee Pitzer. These are two women in their 20s, college students, landed in Cancun last Thursday for vacation. Included several couples, supposed to be a good time. According to their families, the two went to the resort's pool on Friday when they had a few drinks, or they were supposed to have a few drinks. Now, according to Stephanie Snyder, the mother of Zara's boyfriend, she's been updating concerned friends and family members about what has happened, because she says, and the reporting indicates, that the girls requested simply a glass of water. And after that, it's a blank. The victims and their families have not publicly revealed the name of the resort where all of this happened, but we want to figure out what is going on exactly, because there are a lot of different layers about how these two girls got so sick from seemingly just getting water from the resort bar. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, that's a big deal, right? They didn't even order alcohol. They just say they ordered a glass of water and then ended up in the hospital. Not even alcohol. Jeez. I mean, if I would have ordered water and it didn't taste like exactly like water, I wouldn't have drank the whole fucking thing now. I don't know. Let's keep going.
Attorney David Ring to talk more about this. David, so good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on. Before we even get into the specifics of this case, traveling abroad, if something happens to you, what are your legal rights? It gets a little complicated, right? I imagine it depends upon where you travel to, and you're subject to
That's
that
a good
law
question.
Jurisdiction, right?
Oh boy, it gets incredibly complicated and can be very dangerous and very worrisome. I mean, all you have to do is look at this case. You know, you're in Mexico.
You guys gotta, before you travel, keep in mind on what country you're going to, right? Me personally, I would never go to freaking Mexico, right? Especially being an American, there's just too many cartels, and just Mexico's crazy in general, and especially they'll take you hostage if you're an American, and or any of these NATO countries, right? If you're one of those citizens, they'll want money, right? They'll freaking, and they don't care. But if your family doesn't pay, they'll put you in a freaking drum and seal it up, and that'll be the end of you. These cartels really don't play, and they don't care. So Mexico, I would never go to. Of course, Russia, right? North Korea, you can barely even get to, and who would want to go to North Korea anyway, right? Africa, I would never go to. I wouldn't go to China either. It's just very limited. That's just me personally. If you guys have ever been to any of those countries that I just named, I would love to hear about it down in the comments.
So you're in a place that has entirely different rules and policies, and let's face it, there's some corrupt parts of Mexico that you have to deal with if you're unfortunate, and you can find yourself in a real dilemma like these two young women did.
Well, let's get into it. So according to Snyder, Zara, along with her friend Kaylee, were given a drug while they were in the resort in Cancun this past Friday. It was in their drinks. Both girls passed out at the exact same time. Zara started having what the resort doctor called a seizure and said she needed to be taken to the hospital. Kaylee told Oklahoma news outlet KOCO that she woke up the next morning at the resort and she was in a lot of pain. She was nauseous. She couldn't move. And her friend Zara was in a Mexican hospital, allegedly heavily sedated, even intubated with a tube down her throat. According to Snyder, the hospital demanded a $10,000 deposit just to treat Zara at all, and then allegedly wanted more money the next day.
That's another reason not to go to Mexico. So if you go over there to a nice resort and something happens to you, the hospital won't even treat you unless even if you're dying, right? Unless you give them 10 grand, right? Fuck that.
Let's just start there.
And that somebody from that resort had to put whatever was in their drink, right? Shit.
David, what are your thoughts and concerns as we listen to those allegations?
Well, look, let's just, we have so many questions. I have so many questions that are not answered. But let's assume the absolute worst here. Let's assume, based on those facts you gave us, that something very sinister is going on. I mean, there are documented cases in Mexico where a hotel staff has spiked a drink of a guest, and they've done it intentionally. And why would they do that? Because guests get sent to one of these local private hospitals where they extort money out of the patient, and
so all these people at the resorts and the hospitals, they're most likely in cahoots, right? They're working together to make money off of us, just for going over there and spending our money and trying to have a good time over there. Fuck that, right? Take your money somewhere else. Don't go to Mexico.
Say you're going to pay us $10,000 to be treated. You're going to pay us another $50 to be treated and then let go, and then they kick back the money to the hotel employee who actually spiked the drink. There are documented cases of that.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at the most sinister thing that happened down there, that's a possibility.
So yeah, he just said there's documented cases of this where the hotel spikes the drink. They get sent to the hospital. The hospital won't treat them, but they have to pay or else they're going to freaking die, right? And then once they get the money, somebody at the hospital gives the hotel employee, whoever spiked the drink, money, right? It's just totally fucked up. And they need to catch whoever's doing this.
But we don't know.
We don't know. And look, we also don't know 100% if the girls were drinking anything before the water. We don't entirely know what's going on here. But again,
that is true. But I'm going to take it at face value right now until I see some proof otherwise. I just don't see why these two would make this up, right? Spend money, thousands of dollars at the hospital if this didn't happen, right?
And these are very serious allegations, and I want to continue on with what Snyder posted on social media. It says, we contacted the U.S. Embassy and were told they couldn't do anything to help us as long as she was in the hospital. So they gave us contacts of people to help with transporting her out of the hospital and medical flight people to contact. But before we could get them to release her, the hospital demanded more money, $12,500 more.
So the hospital demanded $12,500 more just for them to be released from the hospital's not a freaking prison, right? Why can they leave at any point they wanted to? This is just totally ridiculous to me. And then the medical flight company also had to be paid $28,000. Who has all this money? You have to have at least, what, $50K to pay all these hospital bills and fines just to get out of the hospital? Who has that extra money lying around? Nobody, right? Come on.
The medical flight company also had to be paid 28.
Unless you're, maybe TREV757's got all that money, right? Who knows? With making them fake phone calls and everything. TREV, maybe you can send them the money for all this, since you're with your rapping and all that,
$1,000 before we could get that process going. We tried to say that they had to release her, and I was told she would not be released until we paid. We were told the amount would just continue to go up until they were paid. She arrived at the hospital in Dallas very late Saturday night. My son was able to obtain a partial list of some of the meds that were given to her in the Mexico hospital.
So hold on. So she must have paid, or had somehow paid that money in order to get out of that hospital and get to back to the U.S. Wow. I'm assuming her parents had to pay that money. And this is making me mad, to be honest with you.
And the doctor said that nothing they gave her was helping her. It was just meds to keep her very sedated. So now Zara's body has to basically go through detox to get all these drugs out. The seizures were not really seizures. They were reactions from being drugged. Goes on to state, Kaylee, the other friend who was also drugged, thankfully did not end up in the hospital, but she had a very difficult time for the 24 hours after the incident. It's been 3 days now, and she still doesn't feel back to herself. Neither of the girls have any memory of what happened after they took that last drink, which happened to have been a glass of water. We think it was whatever was put in that glass of water that did it. Now, of course, we're also talking about Mexico.
And it said after that, both girls collapsed at the very same time.
We know their water's not the cleanest, but this is so unusual. And to be clear, right, these are allegations. We don't know exactly what's going on, but my question to you is, what are their legal rights? What could they do right now?
You know what, Jesse? The scary thing is they don't have many legal rights.
Yeah,
it's Mexico. And so they're just lucky to be back here in the United States getting the right health treatment that they're getting to get them healthy again.
So that's another reason why I believe these women are, because it's not like they can sue this hospital and get money out of it. It's in Mexico. It's in another fucking country, right? So I believe them. Sorry, Let me know. Hit the like button if you believe the story too. I'm sorry. I don't. If it was something like this happens, I'm not going to give, there's plenty of documented cases of this actually happening before this in Mexico at these resorts. Hello, I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt, but hey, I know, maybe Crime Circus will. I know he will, though.
But the scary part is they're in this hospital in Mexico, and they're almost
and harsh reality. I know he's going to,
until
right?
they pay. And the hospital, apparently, again, allegations. We don't know if it's true, but if it's true, it's the hospital's just feeding them meds and keeping them sedated just to keep them sedated and to ring up the bills. This kind of...
Yeah, they're probably just giving them pain meds. I would love to see that list of meds. They're probably just giving them pain meds or sleeping meds just to keep them in there until they pay the money,
Kind of sounds like what I was talking about earlier. This is kind of an extortion plot where the bills get rung up to $50,000. They demand payment. They won't release them until they're paid.
It's a hospital, not a jail.
That's a scary thing. They have no redress against this hospital in Mexico. Nothing.
You can't file a lawsuit?
In Mexico? Good luck.
Yeah.
Look, I have clients come to me frequently. I'm in
fucking
California.
Lawyer telling you
a lot of bad things happen.
Don't take it
down
from
in
me.
Mexico.
Take it from the
and
lawyer.
They come to you and they say, hey, I want to file a lawsuit in Mexico. Good luck. They just have a different system of justice. They do not have a civil justice system like we do. They don't even have a criminal justice system like we do. So unless it's like a U.S.-based company down there,
which it's
you can
not.
kind of sue here in the States because they do business here, even that's a tough, that's a tough one too. But you can do it.
Well, that's a good question, right? I don't know what resort they stayed at, but let's say it was an American-owned operation that has hotels in all across the world. Then that could be a different situation, right?
Absolutely. So let's say you're talking with some American corporation, and they target tourists here in America to go to Cancun, and you make the reservations here. Okay, now you can bring a lawsuit here against that company, and you have a viable company. But let's think about it. As an American corporation, are they going to engage in that type of conduct in Mexico? I don't think.
Well, so. No, but if they're
if this was a legitimate American company in Mexico, they would have standards at this hotel, and this would be very unlikely to happen. And unless I see some proof that it was an American owned, then maybe that would be good for them. Then they might be able to get their money back, right? Or something, right? I mean, they just lost close to probably $50,000 and more.
If they're, I don't even know if it's a franchise in the hotel business, but if they have a hotel located in one of these areas, and their employees are doing something, the corporate doesn't have to know about it or rubber stamp it. They could still be held liable for what their outlet did.
Totally agree with you. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But again, the bottom line, though, is truly in Mexico. Wow. Good luck bringing a lawsuit.
That's a good place to stop. In Mexico, good luck bringing a lawsuit. I take it from the lawyer. But again, guys, patreon.com/realtruecrimeking. Not the fake T-Rev, that's been, T-Rev's been doing this for, you go to his channel, he's been rapping. He started out rapping like fucking 7 years ago on YouTube. And then somehow got the true crime. And like mixed the two together. So, that's why he's got all those subscribers, because he's been doing this for freaking 7 years. So, anyway, let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And until next time, the real True Crime King is out.